At 82, Arthur Bellamy thought he'd seen everything life had to offer. Wars, love, death, loss, and the quiet, slow crawl of old age. His little cottage at the edge of Marrow Hill was peaceful, filled with old books, fading photographs, and the soft ticking of the grandfather clock that had belonged to his father. It was the kind of life that dwindled, not ended. Or so he believed. It started subtly, as all strange things do. One morning, Arthur awoke to find his reading chair moved across the room. Not by much, just turned slightly toward the window. He blamed his poor memory, maybe a trick of the night. But that night, it moved again. This time, facing the hallway. The following evening, he heard a soft knock on his door. 3 deliberate taps. He shuffled to the entrance, muttering about late visitors. But when he opened the door, the porch was empty. Only the whisper of wind through the trees. Then came the smell, faint and metallic, like rain before a storm. It lingered in the house long after the air should have cleared. Arthur wasn't easily frightened, but he was tired. His mind wasn't as sharp as it used to be, and sometimes his dreams bled into reality. Still, when he began to hear footsteps in the hallway at night, slow, dragging, too heavy to be his own, he started sleeping in the armchair by the fire, a lamp burning beside him. For a time, that helped, until the bulb began to flicker. One night, he woke to the sound of breathing, a steady rhythm, just a few feet away. His hands trembled as he reached for his glasses, but when he put them on, the room was empty. Then he noticed the fire had gone out, though he couldn't remember falling asleep. The only light came from the window. He turned his head toward it and saw someone staring in. A pale, expressionless face, pressed against the glass, the eyes too large, too dark. He gasped and stumbled backward, the lamp crashing to the floor. The light went out. When he dared to look again, the window was empty. After that, the world around Arthur began to change. His radio, which hadn't worked in years, turned on by itself, whispering voices in languages he didn't recognize. Photographs on the wall shifted. In one, his late wife no longer smiled, and in another, he could have sworn she was moving. He called his son, voice shaking, but the call dropped every time he mentioned the visitor. "Something's wrong here, David." Click. Silence. Days passed. He stopped answering the phone. He barely ate. Sleep came in fragments, haunted by dreams of that pale face. In them, it spoke to him. "Do you remember me, Arthur?" It whispered. He didn't, but each time, it seemed closer. Then came the night the clock stopped ticking. The silence was unbearable. Arthur sat in his chair, clutching his cane, staring at the doorway. He could feel it, something watching him. The air grew colder, heavy, almost liquid. And then, for the first time, it stepped inside. He saw it not as a ghost, but as a distortion, like heat shimmering in the air. It had no true shape, only the vague outline of something human. But its presence was crushing, like 1,000 memories pressed into his skull at once. "Who are you?" Arthur croaked. Its reply was both inside and outside his head. "Everything you forgot." Pain exploded behind his eyes. He dropped to his knees, clutching his temples as flashes of his life flared. His mother's face, his wedding, the war, the funeral of his wife, the arguments with his son. Each memory twisted, darkened, the faces melting into that same pale visage. He tried to scream but couldn't. His voice had been taken. The room darkened until only the shape remained, glowing faintly. It reached out a hand, long and skeletal, placing it on his chest. "Your time was borrowed," it whispered. "Now it's mine." Arthur felt warmth flood his body, not comfort, but consumption. The thing wasn't killing him. It was absorbing him. His skin paled, his heartbeat slowed, his memories drained like water down a sink. When the morning sun rose over Marrow Hill, the cottage stood silent, The fire had gone cold. Arthur Bellamy was gone. But in his place, seated in the old armchair, was a figure that looked almost like him. Too still, too perfect. Its eyes, once cloudy with age, now gleamed faintly with an unnatural light. Later that week, the cottage door creaked open for the first time. The figure rose, slow and deliberate, its cane tapping against the floor. It stepped outside into the pale daylight, turned toward the village, and smiled, a soft, patient smile. It had new memories now. It had new purpose. And down the hill, in a nursing home window, an old woman watched it approach, unaware that she'd already been chosen. Thanks for watching. Is there anything you'd like to see in a short horror story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe.